All right, man, it's back to day one. So finally cleared to work out again. So we're gonna get a workout in today, take you guys along for the ride. We're gonna start with a little supplement stack, nothing crazy. It's just my my Legion Performance Surge, which is a creatine ashwagandha blend. So I'm really stoked to partner with Legion. They make great products, really, really clean. And they have the same philosophy I do, which is you don't need it, but it definitely helps. So we're really just gonna go with 1 scoop of this. This is unflavored, so I just go with 1 scoop of this, and I'm gonna mix in just an electrolyte packet with it. And I pretty much drink this every day, even on the days I'm not training, just because it's just basic electrolytes. I use Drip Drop, just because it's low in sugar, and it doesn't have a fucking 1,000 milligrams of salt, or sodium rather. All right, that's it. So we're gonna start today with a little bit of treatment for my plantar fasciitis that I got from playing pickleball. So I'm gonna do a little bit of instrument work real quick. We're gonna hit some correctives for that. So I'm gonna do some direct loading on that, and then we're just gonna hit the workout and just go from there. So the whole kind of point of these videos, like we're gonna do something a little different, kind of document my little comeback story, I guess, after my parathyroid surgery, but now I'm just feeling really motivated to get back in the shape that I know I should be in. I really put myself on the back burner over the last few years just because of business and life and prioritizing other things, but it's time to get back to where I know I should be. So I got a little plantar fasciitis. It's not too bad, but I just want to nip it in the butt. So I'm just gonna do like a little bit of instrument work, just create some blood flow, stimulate some collagen production, just a little bit of pain relief. It's kind of a pesky injury, and I'm gonna show you a couple of isolated drills that we can do to knock this out real quick. As far as plantar fasciitis goes, I think instrument work is probably one of the more effective treatments for it in terms of like expediting the actual healing process and getting rid of the pain quicker. So like most people, I've just been ignoring it the last couple of weeks, but I've also been recovering from surgery, so it wasn't that big of a deal until I started working out again last week. So again, nothing crazy, about a minute, just creating a little bit of blood flow here. We come over here first, some great toe isometrics. So I just like to get this toe up on the bench here. I'm gonna just start pressing down on that like gas pedal, pressing down with the big toe, right? It's gonna load that toe flexor, which kind of inserts into that plantar fascia. So I'm gonna start ramping that up. Now what I'm trying to do is actually try to pick it up off there. You'll see my extensor tendons lighting up, trying to pick up that without picking up the little toes. I can kind of hold them down. The best way to get rid of like these kinds of like nagging tendon issues, you have to load them. The tendon only really responds to mechanical load. So resting it, icing it, rolling it on shit is only going to modify the symptom. It's not going to actually get the tendon to recover. So just working on loading that tissue directly is gonna be huge. All right. I guess we're gonna do kind of like a little bit of hormozy here. We're gonna start with calves first. So again, just driving up full range of motion, getting onto that first ray, down nice and slow. I even like to get up here, kind of pronate, supinate, kind of work on that forefoot mobility. So I like doing these kinds of drills as like my pre-workout, pre-work, you know, so it's great symptom modification in the short term. And it also helps you just feel better through the rest of the workout. And I also am prioritizing the thing that I'm struggling with the most, right? So no one wants to do rehab. So if you build that rehab into the beginning of your program, get it done first and then you can get on with the stuff you like. One of the things I noticed when I had the high blood calcium, my cardio sucked. Like I'm 3 weeks out of surgery today and I already feel a difference. So like before, it felt like, I don't know, like I'd start to get my heart rate up and it felt like my heart was beating so hard. But if you think about it, my blood was loaded with calcium. It's like pumping through this sludge. So already it's made a huge difference in my endurance. Not that it's good, but I feel better, which is awesome. These assault bikes are like maybe the best conditioning tool really, just in terms of like bang for your buck on time with the upper and lower body, especially for rehab stuff too. You know, if you got a knee that's barking at you, you can just go one leg, two arms. So it's really great, easy to modify. around really any type of injury or issue. I'm just gonna do a couple minutes, just get my heart rate up a little bit, get a little warm. Okay. Nice. All right, next part. So kind of how I structure full body training days. Dynamic warm up, I'll do some isolated correctives, so some independent joint training. Then my first 2 supersets are gonna be big compound movements. And my last 2 supersets are gonna be core and spine mobility and some direct arm training at the end. So I keep kind of the fatigue resistance stuff towards the end and do my big bang for the buck up front. So we're just gonna get some movement, some A skips. I like just for like low impact ground strikes. Just trying to get my foot to accept, you know, some of these dynamic loads, but I'm not going too crazy. I'm a pretty mobile guy. So my mobility work in the beginning, I just check off the big boxes, really like hips, shoulders, and spine. So I'm just gonna do these 90-90 hip switches. If you're somebody who struggles with this kind of range, you know, spending time here and doing some isometrics really helps a lot. But for today, I'm just gonna do this more dynamically. Open up some of this hip rotation. One of the biggest reasons I see people struggling with things like low back pain is they just have terrible spine mobility. You know, you gotta make sure that your spine can move freely. And if it's locked in one position, you're gonna start to get sensitive there. So this is just kind of one of those things, like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Now the embarrassing part about this is like having all this knowledge and then really just not applying it to myself for like 2 or 3 years, at least not consistently. So that changes now. So today we're gonna do 2 supersets compound lifts. Again, I'm just 3 weeks out of surgery. I'm not gonna lift super heavy, although I feel really good. So I'm probably gonna push it a little bit more. So we're gonna start with dumbbell flat bench, and then we're gonna do heels or like a slant board goblet squat. And then our second superset, we're gonna go cable pull downs and probably a hip hinge variation, like something like a hip thrust. Not supposed to like have a ton of like core pressure just yet, because he doesn't want me to kind of rupture any of the blood vessels or anything behind my neck. So even though I'm not supposed to lift yet, I'm just gonna work within some of the guidelines he's given me. This will be the most I've pressed in surgery. Go with the 80s. That was another thing I noticed with the high blood calcium. I just could not. I had like no muscular endurance. You know, if I did like a few higher intensity lifts, I'd be smoked. So again, I don't know exactly how higher blood calcium would affect my cardiovascular performance, but we do know that it can, you know, the calcium can deposit in your arteries. So even for me moving forward, resistance training is gonna be a huge part of maintaining and improving my cardiovascular health, to make sure I have that suppleness in my arteries and my veins. Nice. Oh, baby. We're getting there. Make Mike Stella great again. Upsides of a Kaiser. You can do explosive power movements on it, a smooth resistance no matter what. The downside is the upper level resistance is a little bit more limited. So eventually we're gonna add, you know, a more traditional cable column. But this works for now. I'll just kind of sit down on the ground. So I get a little bit of lumbar flexion, which puts my lats on a bit more stretch, right? Let my shoulders elevate so I get into that big upward rotation, big chest at the bottom. So again, a lot of people want to hold their shoulder blades and do their pulling motions like that. Now you've essentially just made it like bicep work. But if I let my shoulder blades elevate and then I work on depressing, I'm gonna hit that middle and lower trap. I'm gonna hit my lats, I'm gonna hit my teres. So I'm really gonna help try to build up my back, which is definitely for an aesthetic goal, something I'm trying to do. One of the cool things about this machine too, if you come on this side, is it'll measure your peak power and then compare that percentage on each consecutive rep. So it's kind of like gamifying it a little bit, where my goal is like, I want to see if I can beat that peak power. And the cool part about that is we know, at least for concentric loading, your intent or the amount of force that you push through that shortening tissue is going to lead to hypertrophic adaptations. So this just by default makes me kind of compete with myself, which is really cool, on each rep. So this is, you know, I'm doing this for myself, but also we're starting this new men's program, like this men's health optimization program. And it's kind of inspired by my health journey and being frustrated with my doctor and just not getting the answers and him really just not giving a fuck about like the abnormalities in my blood work. Oh, don't worry about it. It's like, no, fuck you, dude. I am worried about it because I Google high calcium. The first thing that popped up is cancer. So like, yeah, I'm a little concerned about this. Both my parents died young. So this is something I wanted to take care of. So I partnered with Merrick Health and they're doing my blood work from now on. They're gonna help me optimize my hormones, get my blood lipids where they need to be. And that's what I'm doing with all my clients, especially my male clients, who unfortunately now are an underserved population. You know, cardiovascular disease kills more men than anything else, you know, maybe next to suicide. So we want to do something to empower guys to take control of their health and their fitness. I'm 40, I'm going to be 40. This is going to be the best version of me ever, and that's going to be what I show you guys. Training for me was always something that I did to improve my athletic development. So I did it for sports. That was my reason why I got into the weight room in like high school and stuff. And then after I stopped playing lacrosse, I really struggled for a long time, kind of having a reason to train. You know, I would do it because I like it, but I never really had anything to train for. And, you know, now that I'm gonna be 40 and I'm married and looking at having a family, so I have a totally different reason to train now. And it's for myself, for my health, for my ability to be here for my kids like my parents weren't able to. So part of it is coming out of that insecurity of, you know, seeing the people I love around me perish from arguably things that may have been preventable if they took care of themselves. But I have the knowledge to do it, so therefore I have no excuse. So I'm not gonna let my family down, I'm not gonna let my wife down, and I'm not gonna let these guys down. So we're gonna get it done. Last one. And that's it. That's it for today, day one. In the books, 3 weeks out. I feel really good. Can't wait to share the come up. So we're gonna do these videos, I don't know, every so often, give you a longer look at my personal health and fitness journey. And hopefully some of you out there can relate to it. Maybe you're there yourself. Maybe you're looking for some help, maybe some guidance on where to start. And generally what I recommend is let's start with an assessment, kind of figure out where your best opportunities for improvement are, and then go from there. So I got a lot of room for improvement. So we're gonna start with the basics and focus on consistency. So I hope you guys are all well. Remember, be unbreakable means that you don't have setbacks. It just means no matter what, we don't look back and we don't give up. We keep moving forward. It's a mindset. It's not a state of being, it's a mindset. So see you guys next time.